I'm Eric Swalwell, and it's this simple. The next governor of California has two jobs. One, keep the worst president in our history out of our homes, out of our streets, and out of our lives.
Buying food at the grocery store is getting more expensive.
No one will keep Californians safer than I will. No one. Nancy Pelosi selected me for the Intelligence Committee and to help lead the impeachment of a corrupt president. Californians will never bend the knee. And two, bring us a new California. California is the fourth largest economy in the world. So shouldn't we be a state where you can take your first job, have your first kid, and buy your first home in the same decade? And one where you can fill that home with food and flood it with light. I'm Eric Swalwell.
He's our governor!
We can build ourselves a new California that we can share in together.
Oh my goodness. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse. Oh my word. Eric Swalwell, guys, going to be the governor of California, which means, of course, they have other plans for old Gavin there. Oh my word. Well, guys, I thought it was pretty interesting, and welcome on in. This is my first show here, and I don't expect there to be many people. I didn't put up the show posting until pretty late, and being the first show on a Friday, but I think I'm going to try to corner the market on the 1 o'clock spot. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday, even if I go live with Lisa and Mac on Monday night. But 1 o'clock, and we're going to be doing this definitely Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and at least those days on 1 o'clock. So we'll see what we do going forward. But I thought it was just a little funny, guys. If you noticed, he's out there talking about, let me just run through some little clips here. Eric Swalwell, just a great guy. Wink, wink, nod, nudge. Nancy Pelosi, guys. Nancy Pelosi selected him to work on the intelligence community. Smart guy, young guy. And, shouldn't we have a California that we can, actually buy a house and not have to pay ridiculous amounts of taxes and this, that, and the other. So he's basically saying that Gavin Newsom is running a shitty California, I think is what he was getting at. Let me just run a little bit of this here. I think you might find this interesting. And here's my wife, who I've been cheating on with a Chinese spy for God knows how long. Yay! And my family, who I betrayed. Yay! You want a guy like that running your state? Believe me, he has aspirations to be Donald Trump. He wants to be president one day. I wouldn't doubt it. But with this mug, good luck, my buddy. Now, hey, I got a little older story for you. I hope you don't mind, but I think it's pertinent to the time that we're in right now. You remember our good friend here, and I just referenced Miss Fang Fang. Well, did you guys remember this? Ding! Huge. This is from back in 2020. Huge. Chinese spy, right here, Rep Swalwell, no, later, was sleeping with his picture with Chinese agent who spied on Feinstein for 20 years. Now, just off the head, I don't really know if it's this guy or this guy. It doesn't really matter. But we know that, one of our senior-most senators had a frigging, what do you want to call him, an office assistant that essentially... Not essentially, he was a Chinese spy for like 20 years, and they knew it. But here's the kicker. They're all together here, all the gang's back. So you got Feinstein and her guy, and here's Fang Fang's guy. Isn't that cute? I love it. Oh my word. It's going to get fun, guys. Now, I talked to my buddy right before the show to get some guidance on how to use a couple of the functions of QAG website. I think I see it here. Let me see if I can see it. I think you guys want to see it pertinent to. Let me see if it actually loaded like I saved it here. No, I don't think it did. So we'll just do it. We're going to do it live here. Treason. We're going to go and look up treason live here. Okay. We're going to look up feeds. We're going to look up Trump on Twitter. We're going to look up Trump on True Social. And we're going to save that selection. It's going to query query. Don't be so query. All right, so here are all the posts in which President Trump has talked about treason. Got 4 pages of them, apparently. What is this one? Going back to, 2020 here. Let's see what's this one. So these are 2022s. This is 2020. Go back. Let's go to page 4 for a sec. Let's see how far this train goes back here. Come on. Like I'm on dial-up over here. Let's go. There we go. Okay, how long? Okay, so it's showing Truth Social, and of course, as we get older, it's showing posts from President Trump. Reason? Question mark here on Twitter. But I bring this up to show you guys. Why is this? Okay, it's not showing the Q posts. Sets. Okay, never close that. Drops are on. Okay, drops are off. We're gonna make drops off just because we don't want to have the Q post showing just right now. Reason active mode. Here we go. Let it query again. I have to search again. Much like I said before, and so many times, guys, I'm so much better on the phone than doing all these other things. But here we go. Here's all the recent ones, right? Treason, insurrection, treason. And, you know, you guys have seen it so many times, right? We got Soros, Alex Soros over here. Right here, of course. Never seen a clearer contrast. President Trump versus the deep state swamp, okay? So as we're going down here, I'm trying not to give you guys a seizure, but just wanted to show this is far from the first time President Trump has mentioned sedition, treason, things along those lines, right? So my question to all of you guys out there is, why now, right? That's the most important thing everybody should be asking themselves right now, is why now? Why did they take this particular time to stand up and finally start putting out these stupid posts, right? Oh, guys, please, and just one more thing out there. If I get another message or email or DM with the fake Virginia Giuffre AI video, I'm gonna lose my stuff. It's just like I'm pulling my hair out because there are just fake posts out there. They're trying to do every single stupid angle, and they're going to try to make us look bad by putting out fake stuff. So we don't need to do that. And maybe I might have an example here for you I could show you in a second. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you know what? I said I was going to show this yesterday. William S. I won't dox you. I didn't get last name, but sent this via email, and I thought this was hilarious. And you know, I wouldn't doubt it if it came true. So, you know, we do the pardons of turkeys on Thanksgiving, which will be coming up this Thursday, guys. So happy Thanksgiving if we don't talk to you by then, if we don't see you, if you don't jump on another live by then. But President Trump pardons turkey. The pardon was immediately overturned by a federal judge in Chicago. So wherever William S. found that one, I don't know, but it was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. So thanks for sending, and always, guys, you have information, funnies. I love funnies. I love information. Over at SpaceShot76 at protonmail.com. All right, not .me. That's a little inside joke. Find this, but yeah, there is a lot of fakeness going on out there. So be careful with the Virginia Giuffre stuff, because remember, she was one of the witnesses, of course, right? And she was the victims. Actually, you know what? As I'm bringing it up, and I'm going to swing. Don't worry, I'm going to circle back to this some of this stuff here and the treason and stuff like that. But I want you guys to see something I found the other day that was pretty interesting. And I didn't know this until I found this the other day. Did you guys know that Virginia Giuffre had and I guess this is pretty common when people write books, she had a ghostwriter, and apparently it's this woman here. Toka Austin, I believe this is the one. Ghostwriter, literary fiction, Bill Clinton's Epstein cover-up. He stormed Vanity Fair to kill the story. What is he hiding? Remember when Virginia Giuffre emailed when she emailed in 2011, quote, Bill Clinton walked into VF and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend J.E. ? That was Jeffrey Epstein, the pedo kingpin Clinton flew with 26 times on the Lolita Express, the guy Bill said he knew nothing about, right? Epstein bragged that Clinton likes them young. Do the Democrats care about that? Not one bit. Democrats are laser focused on one man, Donald Trump, who was cleared by Ghislaine Maxwell herself. Quote, never saw him in any inappropriate setting, no massages, nothing. Even in her pardon-begging DOJ chat, Ghislaine Maxwell said, Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for creeping on girls. Case closed, or it should be, but Dems won't give up their Get Trump crusade. Except their obsession is only attached to one name, despite hundreds of redacted names. Apparently, there is a plan. Selective leaks to the media to smear Trump while burying Bill Clinton's Lolita Island secrets. Release the full Epstein files, blah, 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 blah. So, isn't that interesting? And minute 19.
The victim alleges that former President Clinton pressured Vanity Fair not to run a story on Epstein. The pages also shed new light on how Epstein's victims were recruited and what happened to them. CNN's Gene Cesaris joins us now. And Gene, we're talking about 900 pages here, so there's a lot to go through. What new details have come out?
Well, they came out last night combing through them. And, you know, this all stems from a 2015 civil suit brought by Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell. And Virginia Giuffre had wanted her story to come out. She wanted a book. And so she became very close with a reporter out of Britain. And this reporter was encouraging her to go to the Vanity Fair magazine, to have them do an article on it. And here is what, in a newly undisclosed email from 2011, here's what Virginia Giuffre says. She says, considering that B. Clinton walked into VF, Vanity Fair, and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend, J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, so she didn't want to do it.
Well, it's like, how many times do we need to hear it? And of course, they're always going to go back to the orange man is bad, right? Orange man bad all the time. And, well, let's take a listen to this one. I thought this was interesting. And remember, guys, all of a sudden, I think we had a what? Except for Clay Higgins, we had a near unanimous passing of this Epstein bill. Actually funny to watch. And I don't even know what's up with this guy, dude. I really don't know what's up with Chucky Schumer, guys. Am I wrong in remembering that this guy was just so pro-Israel for as long as I could remember, right? Am I wrong in remembering that? Schumer, Mr. Israel, and then once all this stuff with Palestine started, he literally jumped on the Palestine bandwagon. Oh, I don't know. Am I misremembering that? I must be, because it's like I'm living in wacky world here. And I guess the Post told us about this stuff years ago, right? Up is down, left is right. Nothing will seem right. But listen to the excitement on this clown.
I just asked for unanimous consent that the Epstein bill pass the Senate without any objection or delay, and no Republican objected. It will go to the president's desk. This is great news for the American people, for transparency, but most of all, for the victims who fought so long and hard for this.
So it's been this long road to get here where we are, right? So from my viewpoint, hey, they arrested Epstein, they arrested Maxwell. Maybe somebody killed Epstein. I don't know. Maybe somebody rescued Epstein. I don't know. But what I do know is all these things happen under Trump, right? These arrests and whatnot. And then we have to like weave this trail all the way back to the point in which we are now. Because let's remember back then, how interested were the Democrats to get this information out? Trump was talking about it, right? I mean, here's the thing. If I'm some pedo and I'm going off and hanging on some pedo island with a bunch of other pedos, I think the last thing I would bring up when I'm doing a political speech is talking about, oh crap, one of my friends who I know is a pedo and I've seen on the island because I've been to the island too. And I'm talking about the information or the interview that President Trump did when he was running for president the first time, when he says, oh, Bill's got a lot of problems on that island. A lot of problems. I heard he went to that island a lot. It's a cesspool, right? So wouldn't that be like one of the last things you would ever do is bring up the fact of an island at all? Like, I wouldn't want to even bring that into the realm of talking about it at all because, hell, oh my goodness, I was there. So you would shut up about it. But no, President Trump brought this stuff up from the beginning and nobody jumped on it. Nobody cared. Until what? Oh, no, don't release that stuff. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. They're just going to try to get me in trouble with it. Oh, my goodness. We need to release these files. Let's get these files out. Let's get these files out. Right? They were salivating to get these files out now. And guess what? Now they apparently got what they wanted. But big shocker, guys. I don't think it's what they want at the end of the day. I really don't. I think at the end of the day, it's what President Trump wanted. Right, and we're going to circle back around to that. Don't worry there. We're going to Jen Psaki circle back in a second. But is this what's going on here, guys? Because I don't know if this is what... And guys, you're going to laugh, but right, this actually seemed to work last time when I went live with Mac and Lisa. Me sitting here talking, as I'm doing a live show, talking to the AI. For some reason... I did a couple clips that I, normally would have got hit on last show, and I literally stopped and said, hey, AI, this is the textbook definition of fair use. I'm going to show a Fox News clip here. I'm going to comment on it. It's transformational, and therefore it is free use. And for some reason, it worked. They didn't hit me on it. So is this the reason that all of these senators and congressmen came out and started telling people not to follow orders? And I'm just asking. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm going to take a consensus as you guys are playing this.
Now we have a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals even faster. The High Court ruled that Trump can use the Alien Enemies Act to send Venezuelan gangbangers to a mega prison in El Salvador. This is a huge ruling in Trump's favor and a major win for the country. After, as you know, D.C. Judge James Boasberg ordered a stop to the deportations. So this is pretty significant. These deportations, Caroline, can keep going.
This is a massive legal victory, Jesse, a massive victory for law and order and for our constitutional republic and the sovereignty of the United States of America. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges like Judge Boasberg, who was completely out of line in trying to say that the president didn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists off of our soil. We have always maintained the position at the White House that the president was well within his constitutional authority to do so. And this decision proves that President Trump and our administration have always been right from the beginning. He will continue to utilize the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members, vicious gang members from American communities. And because of this ruling, the United States of America is a much safer place. Our team will get to work tomorrow to deport these heinous, violent foreign terrorists from our neighborhoods.
And you had another couple critical wins in the court with regard to Doge. Tell us about those. That seems to be making progress.
Yes, absolutely. There have been many wins that the mainstream media has failed to cover, particularly over the weekend. The Supreme Court also ruled that the president does, in fact, have the authority over federal funding, that he can dictate what funds can go out the door and what can't, so long as they are part of the executive branch. So we've always, again, maintained that every executive order the president has signed, every executive action that he has taken has been well within his executive authority. And Doge is doing a tremendous job at cutting back at the waste and the fraud and the abuse that have been ripping off American taxpayers, that have not been aligned with our interests here in our country. So we're going to continue the president's agenda. Again, he's well within his constitutional authority, and it's great to see the Supreme Court reining in these activist judges who are wearing robes but are acting as judicial activists, not as real judges and real arbiters of the law.
All right. Lawyer's wrong. I can't believe a lawyer would ever be wrong. It just amazes me.
Well, what do you think, guys? I don't see too many comments in in the chat. I see everybody's greeting everybody else and saying hello. Yeah, Warrior Mima, F. Boasberg, he should be arrested and deported himself. Weezy says, not the first time for that judge, over and over again. Yep, Boasberg has been a real thorn in the side here. But I find it very interesting, guys. You know, the timing. You got to think, right? It's not just the news that we're getting. It's check the timing on all of the things that we're getting and how we're getting them. All right, let's see. I think my computer is playing that fun game. I swear it like loves playing this game where it turns the volume down on me. Go figure. I'm not gonna play this whole thing because I know you guys have seen this by now. But where is it? And I actually saw somebody in the chat that mentioned earlier. I should say it. Said I was gonna read the chat. Yes, QS75 mentioned Elon, right? And they never started chirping up until Elon started, saying, "Hey, Trump's on the list." Well, check this out. President Trump, I believe, posted this out yesterday. Yeah, last night, 9:50, as we were 20 minutes into Table of Titans. I would like to thank President Trump, the pedophile, for all he's done for America and the world. I'd like to thank President Trump, the guy that's on the Epstein list there, for all he has done for America and the world. So I ask you guys, right? Were there some of you that believed back then? And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not saying, haha, I knew better than you, or some of us knew better than you. It's totally understandable that, when people fight in public, you would take it as legitimate, right? So I'm sure there were a few of you out there that were thinking maybe, President Trump and Elon had this abrasive relationship all of a sudden, and, he was turning on Trump, for whatever the case might be. But some of us saw it for what it was, like the fake fighting. And I personally, I have some disagreements with some of my hosts, which I respect their opinion greatly. I think the thing with, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump is the same thing. I think it's the very same thing, because you want to have the people that appear to be the most supportive of President Trump actually making the accusations, right? It's like, oh, wow, Marjorie, she was totally MAGA. She was totally in with Trump, and now she's totally against him. Oh, my goodness. And then where does she go? She's welcomed in. She's treated kindly on The View. Because why? Because she's fighting with Trump. And so, therefore, she gets all that information over there to all of their viewers, and then she goes over to CNN and talks to all of their viewers. And she's not shouted out like she would have been if she was wanting to talk about some great thing a Republican did, right? If she wanted to go on there and onto The View and start talking about, oh, the Republicans did this and the Republicans did that, it would be like, sorry, no, we're not here to talk about that. You're supporting this, and this. But because she was there to fight with President Trump publicly, they were more than happy to have her on there. So then I remind you of this right here. One more time. Do you think this was real? And then I'll fast forward again. Do you think it's really real with Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest? Some of the others that are, all MAGA all the time, all way, and now all of a sudden they're like, I don't know. Those are the ones that will wake up the most people because, somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's just completely brainwashed and will do whatever Trump wants, right? But no. Now she's, quote, turning on him. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm foreseeing some sort of praise or something like this down the road from Marjorie Taylor Greene to President Trump as well. And most likely it'll be reciprocated, right, after the whole fake fight is done. That's how I see it. I'm not saying I'm right about everything, just most of the time. I'm just kidding. Let's see what the chat says. Let's see. Got some updated. More coffee. Yeah, I'm on my second cup. I'm on my second. I got the big. Where is it here? I got one of these big 32 ounces. It's my buddy gave me a. He's a big fan of Sasquatch, so he gave me a Bigfoot sticker that I put on the side of it, and on the other side, it's one of these like tin cups there, a thick one. Trump 2024. Take America Back. That's my coffee cup, and I'm drinking Newman's today, some French vanilla, and it's very yummy. And I'm never going to go to a Starbucks, and apparently even my Dunkin' Donuts that I used to drink for years is completely woke and anti-Republican, apparently the country. So let's do this one. I labeled this one Trump Threatened Me. You've seen it. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's just a bunch of little sallies. Well, you know what? It's 40 seconds. So now remember, President Trump has legal authority to do the things that he is doing right now, right? Is he going against any law right now by doing what he's doing? He's got the okay from the Supreme Court to remove these people. So what is this about? Right? And I'm going to show you, and you're going to laugh at the Chris Murphy one, in my opinion, is the funniest.
Congressman Chris DeLuzio here. Today, Donald Trump called for my death, called for the arrest, the death of me and several of my colleagues, all who've either worn the uniform or served.
He called you out by name. Is that what you're going with? He called you out by name. Take another downer, buddy. You look like you have half Down syndrome here. Maybe it's just where I paused it, but who knows?
Intelligence services. You don't want to hear a basic lesson that we know about our Constitution, about the oath we all take when we serve, whether in Congress or your first day out of boot camp. These are bedrock principles in our country, that you follow lawful orders, the oath to the Constitution.
Yeah, lawful orders. I would say yes. Give me lawful orders. Oh, what else do we have here? This is 2.5 minutes. I'm not playing the 2.5 minutes. I'm just going to let you play maybe a minute of the beginning here. You're going to like this.
Democrat leaders recognized.
Earlier today, Donald Trump shared a post on Truth Social calling for Democratic members of Congress to be hanged. He also posted a message that said, seditious behavior, punishable by death.
So, again, let me ask you guys out there, is seditious behavior punishable by death? Is that in our laws, in our rules, right? Seditious behavior, treasonous behavior is 100%. You have the ability to, anyways. I don't know that they're doing it too much lately, but it is punishable by death. So the fact that he posted, I'm going to show you guys these posts again. He didn't come out and say, oh, this congressman needs to be hanged. This congressman said this and therefore needs to be hanged. It said exactly what Chuck Schumer just said right here. And I'm going to pull it up as he's talking about the rest of this.
Members of Congress to be hanged.
Nope.
He also posted a message that
Here's exactly what he posted. And this is it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Said, seditious behavior, punishable by death.
And that was it. No names, no reference to anything. Simple post. And so for me, what do I look at it as? I look at it like, somebody feeling guilty? Is somebody out there feeling guilty about what you've done, maybe? Because I wouldn't react to that post unless I felt like I did something treasonous or seditionist. But hey, that's just me.
Let's be crystal clear.
Yes.
The President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials. This is an outright threat, and it's deadly serious. We've already seen what happens when Donald Trump tells his followers that his political opponents are enemies of the state. Every time Donald Trump posts things like this, he makes political violence more likely. None of us should tolerate this kind of behavior. We all remember what January 6th was like. We lived through January 6th. We have lived through the assassination and attempted assassinations this year. We have members whose families have had to flee their homes. When Donald Trump uses the language of execution and treason, some of his supporters may very well listen. He is
sorry, Chucky. We're not the side that gets violent. We're not the ones that go out and lash out and attack people and shoot people. Go ask Kavanaugh how his family felt about people being around his house, how Rand Paul felt, how Steve Scalise felt being shot. Not even going to bring up the CK Utah incident that he just referenced, the air quotes assassination, because I don't even know what the hell that was, to be honest with you guys. I'm just still shaking my head to this day and thinking, whatever that was, the official narrative is just, again, out the window, and nobody's ever going to change my mind to tell me what they told me happened. Right? The guy on the roof jumped off, went into the woods, texted his buddy, broke the gun down. Maybe broke the gun down, maybe didn't break the gun down. 30-06, nope. Superman skin, Superman bones, nope, not buying it. Not buying it for a second. But again, we're not the people that do that. That's their side. I'm just loving this though, guys. And so actually, I'll pull it up for you. I got one. Let's pull up this one first here. So here we go. So again, seditious behavior, punishable by death. You know what? I never even looked up the drops to see if there was anything at, what is it, 1021. Do that while we're at it here, because probably did it. 1001. List the estimated wealths of religious organizations: Billions, Vatican, Board of Superintendents, Supervisory Cardinals, Clown Connection, 1832 Rothschild loan to the Holy See. So I would say that doesn't really go with any drop particularly. But what I would say is seditious behavior, punishable by death. They can look at that as a threat. I look at it as a statement of fact. Right? And where did I go here? Donald Trump, and then here we go. Larry Summers. And again, why are these people constantly... Well, we know the answer to it, right? We know the answer, but this is what we need to wake up the average everyday normie to, guys and gals out there, is that they're always on about Trump, and they're never gonna bring up their own side. Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, all these people that were famously good friends with Epstein are never, ever mentioned. Reid Hoffman, never mentioned. But hey, every time we can talk to President Trump, we can sure ask him about it and insinuate that he had things to do with it. And at this point, it's exhausting because we've covered it so many times. And who was the guy? Bradley Edwards, who was the attorney for the victims. He's even interviewed by what looked to be a Democrat, or at least a non-Republican, who looked to be salivating about, oh, hey, what about Trump? The Republicans will never think anything bad about Trump. So what do you think? And he's like, nah, he was the only one to pick up the phone, only one to give us information that checked out and helped prosecute Jeffrey Epstein. Only one. So here's what we're responding to, guys. And this is why this is a problem. All right, I'm going to explain to you guys why this is a problem. I think most of you guys get it, and this is what we need to pass on to the normies out there. Democratic veterans in Congress urge service members to refuse unspecified unlawful orders. Okay? So the problem here lies in the fact of military men and women are given orders, and you are supposed to follow those orders out to the end, right? Correct. If it's an unlawful order, yes, you do not have to do it. However, who's to say what they're being ordered to do is illegal? Because like we've mentioned, we've gone to the Supreme Court, we've got the authority. Now, my guess is it's about kicking, illegals out of the country more than anything. Right? So are they saying, oh, it's illegal, you don't have to do it, it's not legal to, kick illegals out of our country, even though we have backing of the Supreme Court? President Trump is getting win after win after win over there, right? So I don't know what exactly they're trying to go on about, that he's doing something so illegal, but I find it so hilarious that all these people kind of going out just screaming, nope, stop it, nope, stop it. Anyone in the military thinking about not following an order better think long and hard about whether it's constitutional or not. I suggest everyone in the military not only read but study the Constitution. of late, the Democrats scream that's unconstitutional every time they don't like something, only to have the Supreme Court side against the Democrats. Constitution is not a huge document you could read quite quickly. Once you get a grasp of the Constitution, I suggest reading all of the cases where a Democrat-appointed judge who stops a Republican agenda saying it's unconstitutional gets overturned by the Supreme Court. If you chose poorly and don't follow an order and it's found to be constitutional, you will have instantly ruined your whole life. So, are they going to follow this stuff? My guess is a lot of people. I don't look at it, at the military as being a bunch of these woke people. I look at that as a lot of these woke and weirdos were the fringe essentially, and I believe they need to be rubbed out. And don't take that in the sexual content, but they need to be gone. Those people are the fringe, and they need to be gone. Is my opinion on the matter. And I don't look at the majority of these people like, yeah, we're going to resist Trump, right? And don't get me wrong, there are going to be certain people that are in there, and I would point more towards the people that perhaps were installed under Obama after he got rid of a lot of high brass, a lot of high-ranking people that were released underneath Obama. And remember, again, he was the original, or not the original, but he was the Manchurian candidate. We have, Jason D'Souza, FBI agent. I even saw Red Pill had interviewed him. But he talked about in 2008, they knew about this guy who was an asset coming from other countries that was working with multiple different intelligence agencies. Later to come find out, he doesn't like to say the guy's name, but he meant Barry, our friend Barry Obama, right? So, take a look at here. Let me pull up the next. I just find these so funny. So again, they're pushing this narrative over and over and over again. Now you have Gavin Newsom, which apparently is moving up to run for president, would be my guess. Is you're going to have Swalwell running for governor, right? So what would that leave old Gavin here to do? We know he's got political aspirations. Maybe they need to, show him what to do with his hands. He's a little too handsy. But President of the United States just called for the death of Democrat lawmakers. This man is sick in the head. You guys, does anybody see that? Where he said, let's kill Democrat lawmakers? I can't, I don't know, maybe my eyes are not working so good right now. But I don't see in that post anywhere where it calls for the death of Democrat lawmaker. I could be wrong. I don't want to sit here and say there's something not on the screen and it happens to be on the screen. But they are taking this a step way too far. And they keep going on and on. I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving the panic. Remember, all of a sudden we went almost unanimous with the Epstein files. Just it's seemingly overnight, right? Like, oh no. Half the people aren't going to vote for the Epstein file. Next day, except for one person, almost unanimous. Guys, the timing on everything here is the interesting thing, right? The timing on these things is what we need to really get behind. And I'm touch on this one more time here. Good post from Liz Crokin here, who brings up an older post from President Trump. Liz Crokin says, President Trump has not only called for the death penalty for those guilty of sedition and treason, he's also called for it for pedophiles and sex traffickers. And guess what? Many of the deep state traitors who are guilty of treason and sedition are also guilty of sex crimes against children. Lawyer up and TikTok mofos. Mr. D, am I doing this right? Who is Mr. D? Oh, Mike Davis. And then this is a post going back to 2012 from President Trump. Got to do something about these missing children grabbed by the perverts. Too many incidents. Fast trial. Death penalty. I believe so. And, guys and gals out there, I still believe that, a lot of people, of course, share information here on social media and whatnot. And that is one avenue to get information out, right? Oh, these stupid yawns. You guys still yawn like 4, 5, 6 hours after you wake up? I don't know. Second cup of coffee and still yawning. Fast trial, death penalty. He's been talking about this for years. And if you guys remember, if we go back into the timeline, if we could go and search, Chrissy Teigen, which we know she deleted a bunch of stuff, Dan Schneider, James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy dude there, Rainn Wilson, the guy who played Dwight on The Office. Who was that short guy that he on King of the Hill there? Patton Oswalt, right? There was a time there between, 2008, 9, maybe 9 more, and 2011, 2012, in that time frame where these people were posting the most disgusting stuff all over Twitter. But hey, I'm a comedian, so it's funny. And it's like, I just had, I had blood in my shampoo or something, and it's like, no, it wasn't my blood, it was the goth boy that I was with or something like that, right? Like, if I drink a goth kid's blood, does that make me goth by proxy? How do you punish a kid? You take his cell phone away and sodomize him with it. Like, these are not funny jokes, right? These are not jokes at all. But these people had free will back then to post the most disgusting things, to the point where once they started getting air quotes here, harassed in 2017, 2018, 2019 about their clearly pedophile posts, then they started deleting them. Thousands and thousands and thousands of posts, all to protect themselves, right? But nothing's ever truly deleted out there, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing. Hey, Casey Bowser, yawning increases your oxygen levels. Let's try it again. Okay, yeah, I feel oxygenated. Oxygen aided. There we go. Oxygen aided. There we go. That's all right. Well, what else could we talk about today? Oh, that's it, guys. Sorry, I don't have a million more links to go over with you. Yes, I do. Let's see what we got here. Covering this. I do this covering the screen so you guys don't have to see me dragging stories onto the screen. And, Bree did such a nice job on, I like that image right there. Face shot, red to the right and the blue to the left there. I like that image. All right, so here we go. And basically I do this. So check this out, guys. Assistant principal in Virginia. Really? And his brother. A couple stand-up individuals here, guys. And I'm saying this highly tongue-in-cheek. Here we go.
2 brothers have been arrested, charged with threatening to shoot police and ICE agents. And one of them is an assistant principal at Kempsville High School. Yesterday, Beach Police arrested 54-year-old John Bennett. School officials say he's currently on leave from his position there. The other suspect is 59-year-old Mark Bennett. Court documents reveal several disturbing details about this investigation. So let's send it over to 10 on Your Side's Ethan Krause, who joins us live outside of that school. Ethan.
Yeah, Aisha, good afternoon. And you said it, the court documents do reveal details leading to the arrest of Kempsville High School Assistant Principal John Bennett. Now, according to the Virginia Beach Police Department, John Bennett and his brother Mark were both arrested on November 16th after police received information that the brothers threatened to commit acts of violence against local police and ICE agents. Court documents reveal that the brothers were overheard talking at a restaurant where Mark Bennett mentioned how he had an assault rifle with the ability to utilize explosive rounds that could penetrate protective vests. He also mentioned flying to Las Vegas to meet with like-minded people and how he would return with, quote, enforcement ideas and plans. The documents went on to state that John Bennett added statements of support and enthusiasm for the suggested violence and also expressed interest in joining his brother on the trip to Vegas. Now, both brothers were arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit malicious wounding.
And I know what you guys are wondering too, and I'm wondering as well. Did the local WAVY 10 local news not have their local newscaster, and therefore they took the local school reporter over? Yes, very young looking, of course, but doesn't change the fact of the story that this is what the rhetoric out there is doing. So you heard, Schumer and I call him Fang Swalwell over there, and Schumer, and these people talk about, oh, the rhetoric that, you know, President Trump does is going to get people killed. Well, what about the rhetoric of telling people that, you know, these ICE people need to be murdered because they're getting rid of our citizens, and these people don't have crimes, and they're just getting rid of anybody, and they're going to deport everybody? It's like they're putting out the idea of things being dangerous out there, or they're putting out things that are making things dangerous for our ICE agents and our local police as well. This is going to be a funny one, guys. I think you're going to find this one. And so and actually, I'm going to show you guys in a second here. I still cannot get my Twitter to work. So, like, when I'm putting stories together and stuff like that, I simply cannot go here. Say if I want to copy a link, I want to share. As soon as I click that link, let me see. Really quick. Like, literally trying to put a show together. And right here. So the same thing happens if I that is weird. I was watching my screen here. This cursor wasn't moving, but I'm moving it, and it's showing on my it's showing on the program I'm using here, OBS, that the cursor's moving, but it wasn't moving on the screen. But so here's what happens when I go into my DM after I set the stupid code word. This is why I said to you guys, do not set a password for an encrypted DM if it asks you, because once you do it, once you click your DM box, this happens. Bing. And now every time, well, I would say every other time, because it's basically half the time now, when I go on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, on my phone, and I go to copy a link, same thing happens. Oops, an error occurred. So I've asked Elon, I'm like, come effing on, Elon. Someone fix this app. You do want people sharing on here, right? I've had to delete it and reinstall 10 times now. And, of course, I get no response. And thanks, Rect done one. I will give Ghost a call. I'm going to give him a call a little later because I know he had surgery recently. And I know he was healing up, so we want to give him some time to heal up properly. But I just found this one to be pretty interesting. This guy's. MJ True says, see where this is going? Breaking. President Trump says the U.S. military courts are looking into the Democrats' seditious behavior. Trump was asked if he worries there will be military personnel who will disobey direct orders. Quote, no, I don't worry about anything like that because I'm a leader and they do as I say. But that was a traitorous thing to do. I think they very seriously broke the law. They very seriously broke the law. I think Pete Hegseth is looking into it too. I know they're looking into it militarily. I don't know it for a fact, but I think the military is looking into it. The military courts. Let's listen to this.
Do you worry that someone on the Gerald R. Ford will say, hey, I don't want to do this Venezuelan mission. I don't want to sit out in the ocean. I'm out. Do you worry about them saying, I don't want to go to Chicago and be in the National Guard? I'm out. Do you worry about that?
No, I don't worry about anything like that because I'm a leader and they do as I say. But it certainly is not a good situation. It could happen with certain leaders. It could happen. I don't think that happened with me, but you never know. Look, that was a very terrible. That was a traitorous statement. That was a horrible thing to do. I believe they broke the law very strongly. I think it's a very serious violation of the law. Yeah.
I know Todd Blanche seems to be looking into it. Your assistant deputy, or your
well,
deputy
I think
attorney.
Pete Hegseth is looking into it too. I know they're looking into it militarily. I don't know for a fact, but I think the military is looking into it. The military courts.
Do you worry?
The military courts. I love it, guys. Let's see. Play more of the Kill Me. This was from yesterday, obviously. Let's play a little bit of this, and this is how fast the show, guys, goes. When I'm usually used to doing like a 3 or 4 hour show with Hulk on Saturday, which of course will be live at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm usually doing a 3.5 hour show on Table of Titans. When I do just an hour, man, that hour flies by quickly. So I'll do it about another 6 minutes, and I'll raid over however many folks we got here over to Rambo. Because I know, actually, let's see if he's going live today, because he said sometimes he does not. So if he's not going to go, maybe I can go for a little bit longer. But I think he said he's going to be. Let's see. Upcoming starts November 21st at 2 p.m. Yes, so he will be live in 5 minutes, and don't step on our friends' toes, or we try not to. And listen to a little bit of kill meat here again with President Trump. Yeah, yesterday or is this? Yeah, this is today. Seditious behavior punishable by death, and this is what we showed from Hulkinator yesterday, guys. He showed this on Table of Titans. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. Hang them, George Washington Wood. Donald Trump did repost that. Even my buddy Mullein from Patriot Politics Research, he sent this over yesterday as well. Insurrection, treason. Donald Trump reposted. Sedition. Donald Trump reposted. Right? So he's trolling them on one side, and on the other side having fun. He's literally just having fun all the way around. Let's listen to a little bit of kill meat here.
A little bit later, but I also want to talk about something else that matters a lot, and that's that tape that those veterans and Elise Slotkin put out, talking about urging, I guess, or reminding our troops that they don't have to obey orders. Listen to a little of it.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Which, again, guys, which orders are they referencing that are illegal? That's where the problem comes in. Let's get past this.
So you get the spirit of it. Your reaction was pretty direct. This is really bad and dangerous to our country. The words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors, and you want to say punishable by death. So people thought that you were saying death to those politicians. What were you saying?
Well, if you look at sedition, if you look at that type of, that's a very strong form of being a traitor. It's a terrible thing to say. I must tell you, I heard it, and I thought it was some kind of a comedy situation. I thought that it was some kind of a skit, and because I couldn't believe that they'd say it. And I watched Democrat congressmen and one Democrat senator yesterday on one of the shows. Didn't even want to discuss it. They said, whoa, don't get me into that one. They didn't want to get into it. That is a really serious charge. I'll tell you what they said is, and it was, I don't know about the modern day things, because, modern day is a lot softer, but in the old days, if you said a thing like that, that was punishable by death.
Yeah, but you're not threatening them. A lot of people are interpreting there's a threat and there's security.
Well, I'm not threatening them, but I think they're in serious trouble. I would say they're in serious trouble. I'm not threatening death, but I think they're in serious trouble. In the old days, it was death.
Do you worry, Mr. President?
Seditious behavior.
Do you worry?
That was a big deal.
Do you worry?
Today, nothing's a big deal. Today's a different world, okay? It's a softer, it's a meeker, milder world. But I will say this, I think what they did is really bad. The hatred is pretty strong. But what they say, essentially don't follow the orders of the President of the United States to the military?
Do you worry that some of your guys are going to say no?
Young privates and young corporals and young sergeants, and they're not scholars necessarily. There might be a few, frankly, but they're not scholars. They don't, study the Constitution, et cetera, They know that. So these are bad people. These are people that, in my opinion, broke the law. Now, what happens to them, I can't tell you, but they broke the law. That is a terrible statement. I can say if I ever said that and there were a Democrat as president, all hell would have broken loose.
Again, guys and gals out there, it comes down to they're basically being told to resist President Trump. That's their way of saying, basically resist his policies. Oh, you don't have to do anything illegal. That's you might as well tell somebody, oh, hey, by the way, don't forget to breathe air the rest of the day. Yeah, you breathe in and then you breathe out and then you breathe in and you breathe out. Oh, hey, military guys, you don't have to do anything illegal. Oh, okay. Right? It should be known that that's something they should not have to be reminded of. It's certainly by criminal, in my opinion, and allegedly, wink, wink, criminal elements of our deep state that are posing as congressmen and senators. enriching themselves on the American people while they do nothing to work together to make our country great or better. How many posts do you guys think are in the drops talking about panic in DC? Would you guys be surprised to know that at least this app tells me, Q alerts, tells me there's 47 posts about panic in DC, ladies. I thought that was definitely interesting. I wonder why, wink, wink. All these things are for a reason, guys. They don't just do haphazardly or by accident. So, go for a little bit more. I know Joe sometimes starts a little bit. We will go for a little bit longer, guys, but here's what we're dealing with, guys. We're literally dealing with all three movies playing at the same time right now. Right? The FISA-gate, because I don't know, is Crossfire Hurricane, Arctic Frost, Jack Smith, is any of this back in the news, recently? Sure is. Absolutely sure is. Let's click this up here. Right? FISA-gate. I mean, this guy just got indicted. He's in trial as we speak right now. It's coming. It's coming. Her and her husband will not sit for a deposition and therefore may be charged. Could be thrown in the jail there like Navarro and Bannon was. Right? And then we have the guardians of the pedos. This whole big convoluted thing about Jeffrey Epstein. And hey, well, we arrested Epstein. Oh, well, he got killed or he killed himself in jail. And oh, well, we arrested Maxwell. We got all that. Hey, Epstein, Bill Clinton, the island. Troubles, a lot of troubles. Hello. No, anybody want to hear about that? No? Nobody wants to hear about this stuff? Actually, yeah, no, don't release the Epstein stuff. No, it's a Democrat hoax. They're just going to try to make it seem like there's something. They're going to add fake stuff. No, don't release the Epstein files. Don't. Then the other side, release the Epstein files. Fell for it. As a result of this FISA-gate here and Guardians of the Pedophiles, we have the end result of this right here. And they are crapping themselves to the point where they had to have all gotten together a day before yesterday, right? And said, hey, you know what we should do? Get some of our military, congressmen and women, our former military, to get together and put this thing together, right? This doesn't happen by accident. They don't all do this in lockstep by accident, right? But it also is a great highlight for our side to show how criminal these people are. I'm absolutely loving this, guys. I'm seeing it for what it is, and I'm seeing the rats running from the ship. They are panicked as we speak here. Debbie, so are you over there on the YouTube side of things there? Let me see. How are we doing on the YouTuber side today? What's going on over there? This is a last minute show, very last minute. We got a still got, over 500 over here on Rumble, and I didn't put the posting up until maybe half hour before the show. Our first show over here, so not bad. 500 people showed up there on Rumble side. How about on the YouTuber side? Still got... Check it out, guys. This is what I mean by a certain platform. We got a certain platform, wink, wink. This one right here is completely toast. Just look at the numbers. I got, 5 times as many, quote, wonderful world patriots over there on YouTube than I do on Rumble, but yet I have 200 more people watching on Rumble. Figure that one out, guys. 5 times the following here, but 200 people less are watching. You guys do realize that if I go back to 2018, 2019, this 300 right here is like 2,500, 3,000. 2,000 to 3,000 people watching live, pretty much almost every show. So they got their desired result, which was to basically squeeze us out while we were hot, making, momentum. maybe it was our fault. Maybe we were waking up people too fast. I thought this was really disgusting, guys. The idea that this, actually, I'm going to show you this one really. This is just a quick one. Released campaign finance records show that from 98 to 2018, and I will also remind you, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2008. So 1990, all the way till 10 years after he was convicted as a pedophile. Jeffrey Epstein directed about 89% of his political donations to Democrat and progressive causes, with notable individual recipients including Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Chucky Boy Schumer. And I don't want to miss that one, so thank you. I think that was Whippenspur, who gifted out, looked like 5 subscriptions to the channel. So thank you so much, Whippenspur. I appreciate that. Excuse me. And I just saw another Dollar Rumble rant that came in from GFonts119, which Trump, if you guys noticed, I think I covered it yesterday or maybe the day before. But Trump had mentioned with his talk, Hulk brought it up, the video on Table of Titans, where President Trump was, I don't know what he brought up the 119 for. He says, 119. So I thought it was interesting. GFonts 119 says all these, quote, quote, victims talking to the press and swearing it's not political, but had to mention Trump's name and never a single sexual violator. Not a one of them. Are there any that were under 18? Well, you got to remember, too, you're going back a little bit, you're going back decades. So, like, where Virginia Giuffre was, I don't know, 30 or 40 now or something like that, she was underage, 14, 15, 16, 17 back then. So, I mean, some of the stuff, if you go back to, 2008, you're now talking, what, 17 years ago? Ooh, coincidence? 2008 plus 17, 25, right? Yeah. So, you're going back 17 years, essentially. So you got to keep that in mind as well. And you got to, I'll also remind you guys of, kind of going through the drops. You guys remember there was a post talking about, maybe I can find it. I think the post talked about how Epstein wanted to put Wi-Fi, or, I'm going to search the keyword Wi-Fi now. Cellular service, I think it was then. Cellular cell phone. Let me see, because there was a guy that went over to Epstein Island. Log switch over. Okay, so there's nothing in here, but there was 100% a post that talked about a man who was over at the island, and essentially he said he couldn't go back to the island because there was so many young girls there. Worth remembering, underage women, young girls, sexually exploited, context for future. That was a post in 2020 talking about Hunter Biden GOP report claims prostitution. But yeah, there was a story in one of the drops talking about, maybe it wasn't in the drops. I know 100% I covered it, and I know the story itself is true. That essentially this guy went to Jeffrey Epstein's island because they weren't getting complete cell phone coverage on the whole island or Wi-Fi coverage on the whole island. And that was his job to do that. But then he said he refused to go back there because there were highly inappropriately dressed, very young girls all over the place. That was his quote back then. So, I can't confirm or deny, what was there and what wasn't. I'm just going off of what people were reporting back in the day. And Greg 3012 dropped the $20 Rumble rant. Says, "Hi, y'all." Hi, Greg from the North. The Greg of the North, UK. Appreciate you chiming in there, brother. And my buddy's live here because we don't step on our friend's toes. And I was on his show yesterday. Probably got. Yeah, he's doing his intro right now. So we'll raid you over to Joe Rambo show. Me, I'll chill out in the chat in a little bit for you guys. But actually, I never got to the last post. Let me cover my last story here. I think this is maybe worth talking about because where is it? I thought this was worth because. Oh no. Well, I'll just cover this real quick. Stephen Miller says, and he's reposting this, and Hulk actually talked about this yesterday. 2.5 native-born Americans gained, while 3.4 million native-born Americans joined the labor force. 708,000 foreign-born left the labor force. Let me just pull this one up because I have, like I mentioned before, guys, I have so many links that I didn't put my links that were up top here into here because we have Lutnick talking about the economy and what he was saying. Let me. And look out for this weekend, maybe even later, guys. I'm gonna be jumping on Beer at the Parade's channel at 5:00, at least for maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. He's gonna be doing a roundtable as well. Man, where the hell did it go? But anyways, Lutnick essentially is saying the big beautiful bill starts January 1st, and essentially we're gonna see numbers like we've never seen. For some reason I can't find it in my notes. There we go. This is 30 seconds. So this is probably not the exact one I wanted, but we got Howard Lutnick here on Ludlow.
But the construction jobs alone, you can't invest $3 trillion a year without driving our GDP off the charts. You're going to see 4s, you're going to see 5s, you're going to see 6% GDP growth under this president because the factory's coming home, the tariffs are bringing them home. You have never seen construction the way you're going to see it. And then when these factories come online, wow, are you going to see numbers nobody's ever thought possible. You know, but the construction jobs alone.
So he's saying you're going to see numbers next year like you haven't seen or you never even would have dreamed about. So we'll see if these things come to fruition. He says the BBB is coming in. Meanwhile, you have some people saying, oh, everybody's hurting out there. Everybody's doing horrible and nobody can stay above water. And I mean, I don't really notice much around this area about things being much different than they were, 5-6 months ago. Maybe you guys have a different experience in different parts of the country or world. But as far as for me here in the Northeast, there's not really much difference. Gas is a little bit cheaper. Eggs and milk are a little bit cheaper. Other than that, I know stuff like, I don't buy soda, especially since my son just got braces. He can't have anything bubbly. He doesn't really like soda anyways. He's more of a Gatorade Zero type of dude. But, a 2-liter bottle of friggin' soda, which I don't buy, is like almost $4 now. Even a 1-liter bottle of, Coke or Pepsi walking by there was like $2.29. So some of those things, even candies that I'm noticing, I'm like, wow, a king-size candy is now like $1.79, where, before maybe it was, $1.29, a little bit less. But some things I do notice are pretty expensive, but we will see how these things pan out in the next year or so, guys. So let me just go thank anybody else over here on the Foxhole. Anybody else that showed up? How many we got over there on the Foxhole? Maybe we'll rate him. We got 84 showed up, and thank you guys all for showing up last minute. And I will be live here going forward Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 p.m., 1 p.m., 1 p.m. Nice and easy for you guys. So if you're ever wondering if Space Shot's live and it's 1 p.m., chances are yes. Sean Joe with the cookie. Thank you for that, Sean Joe. And then this other person named Sean Joe with a cookie, number 2 there. And then another person named Sean Joe with another cookie. So 3 Sean Joe cookies in a row. And then Minnesota Girl with a cookie. Thank you for that, Minnesota Girl and Sean Joe. And the last one is Bois Blanc 89 with the cookie. And Matt Squared, if you guys are listening, I'm telling you, a good addition to the cookies and all this stuff would be some milk and cookies. So I'm releasing the scratch offs over here. They should be coming at you in a second over here. I'm going over to D Live. And then I said, before, I'm going to raid you guys over to Joe Rambo's show as well. Going into the bucket, I'm putting 50 diamonds into the bucket. So thank you to Susie Q, Pete Answer, and Biblical Smackdown, the top 3 contributors over there. And I am distributing such rewards at you now, and they will be coming in 28, 27, and counting. And as I mentioned, guys, I am going straight over to my buddy Rambo. Tell him Space Shot sent you. He's already got almost 2,000 people over there going live. Send our 500 over to him. So, appreciate you guys all hanging out as usual. And remember, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 p.m. And, of course, Monday show with Lisa and Mac, 7 p.m. And Table of Titans, 9:30 every Thursday. And maybe I'll add even another show after that. We'll see what's going on here. So, thank you very much. And T-Webs, I will echo that sentiment. Love to you all, Patriots. I do appreciate you guys all. Thank you to the mods for helping myself and many others out along the way there. And as I say at the end of every video, and do mean it, until that next one, I do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next video, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And remember, the first video is for YouTube only, and I will end the video, and then you'll get another one on Rumble and all the other platforms. All right? And peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right. It's brackets and jackets. Bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see, this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, Once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens